Sponsorship with Living Podcariously or the Twisted 10 is not just about contracts or money. We like to form relationships with those who invest in our shows.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We only like representing companies or products that we can really get behind.
We met Kyle and Bianca from Oak and Iron Photography at an event from another sponsor of ours and immediately bonded with them because, let's face it, they're just awesome people.
Yeah, and if you came out to our Living Podcariously listener event, you may have seen them roaming around, taking some photos for us. They captured so much joy and emotion in those photos that night. It was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Now, Adam, I'm kind of a amateur photographer, so I can appreciate how difficult it really is to capture moments like that.
They shoot events of any kind, weddings, lifestyle photos like maternity, couples, families, you name it. Not only do they capture moments that your grandmama will like, but they also put that Oak and Iron personal style and spin on what would normally be considered traditional photos.
Oh yeah, that Ring of Fire shot from our event was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Their photos not only capture the raw emotions, but when looking at them later, you are transported back to that day they were taken.
You'll see it on their website. They capture, quote, the real moments for the true at heart.
Nice.
Head on over to oakandironphoto.com to check out some of their work. Also, you can click the Contact Us button and get a quote of your own.
Go and check out oakandironphoto.com and let Kyle and Bianca know you heard about them from us.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to The Twisted 10, bringing you original and unique host-created top 10 lists, recorded live in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida, with hosts Tach Van Sickle, Adam Poston, Jay Alvarez, and me, Andrea Joy.
And welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10.
Woot woot.
Yay.
Woot woot. I am Adam. I'm not one of your hosts tonight. Sitting over there in the
He can't talk. Maybe I should go next.
in the big sitting in the lady chase.
Did you say you're not one of the hosts?
Right. Next.
I am not one of the hosts.
Who are you?
Who am I? Who am I? Now that is a question. How long do we have?
I'm Tach.
Hey, Tach. Thanks for picking up that ball and running with it.
Because you skipped over me. That's not right.
Well, you were choking.
Oh, I appreciate your thoughts and prayers. I'm Tach, and I'm not the host tonight. I'm sitting over in Lady Chase.
Hi, this is Andrea Joy, and I am not your host tonight.
Huh.
And
Jay,
I'm Mr. Wilson.
No, Jay. Mr. Wilson is here.
Why do we even have to say Jay? Just don't say that name.
This is your first night officially on the mic as permanent host for Twisted 10, I think, right?
Yeah, you're right.
First night as permanent host.
Nice. Welcome.
How's it feel, buddy?
Are we going to do that hazing
good.
thing
It's
we
comfy.
talked about?
The hazing? Yeah.
Okay.
It'll happen right now. You
Later.
ready? Right now. And hosting our episode is going to be Josh tonight.
Josh, what'd you bring?
Let's do this. I got the top 10 ways to fuck over co-hosts. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
Well, wait a minute. If I'm not hosting, Tach's not hosting, Andrea's not hosting, Jay's not here anymore, and Josh isn't hosting, who's hosting?
Oliver.
Nobody's on Skype.
Come on, buddy.
Who is hosting?
I'm just joshing you. It's my. Oh, see what I did there? I'm joshing you. It's my
It's
night.
Mr. Wilson to you.
It is definitely my night. I haven't done one of these in 4 months?
8 months. What?
4 months, I think.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It hasn't been that long.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Oh, what are we talking about?
So if you've never listened to the Twisted 10 before, what we do here is someone brings a list, an original host-created list. And what we do is we take it, we put a little diaper on it. This is
Babies.
for you, Mr. Wilson.
All right,
And then-
taking notes.
Take notes. And a lot of people say you use baby powder. No, don't use baby powder.
And what's baby powder for?
I don't even worry about it. You can squeeze it and make a train.
You can put it in your butt and fart, and it shoots a puff of white baby powder.
And then we put a little diaper on it. Then we swaddle it, and we hold it, and we rock it to sleep. And then we discuss it and break it down.
I'll cut all of that out and just use the discuss and break it down. Is that what you want me to do? No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, that pretty much nails it. Yeah, so each week a host or guest host brings their list in. It has to be unique. It cannot be directly copied from BuzzFeed or any of those other
I
sites.
even said it. He's just going to reiterate.
You motherfuckers. Right
No,
off the
you're
bat.
right. And this is what we do. I'm just kidding. You are like really sensitive tonight, Adam.
No, I'm
What's
not. I'm
going
not
on?
sensitive at all.
Why would you say that?
You're
What do you
attacking me.
mean? No.
Tack. See what I did there?
Now you guys see my life all the time.
For listeners who might be new to Josh, Josh is also Mr. Wilson. He's been our web and our PR guy on the back end of Dichotomy Media, which is our company that kind of runs our podcasts for. It's us, but I mean, it's what all of our podcasts are products of the company. Josh has been helping us out with that for a long time, and he's moving to Brevard. So we'll have him over here with us more regularly, hopefully all the time, pending schedules and stuff like that.
Did you say Mr. Wilson was a product of the company?
I mean, you could take it that way, but no, he's a member of the company that supports the podcasts, which are the products of the company.
And what's his name?
Mr. Wilson.
Good job.
All right. Now we got that settled. So I created this list. I've been working on this list for quite some time. It was partially inspired by the episode that we had with the Flat Earth guys in here.
Nice.
It was partially inspired by Adam Conover with Adam Ruins Everything. That's a very obvious plug.
Oh,
I
can't get to it.
absolutely...
Hold on. Wait.
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go.
I absolutely love that show. He was recently interviewed on another podcast I listened to, and he's just a fucking awesome guy. He's really, really cool.
Indeed.
So there are Josh, for more of the information on Josh, aka Mr. Wilson, go listen to Living Pod Curiously's episode this week. We do a little bit of a short dive into his life and what he is and what his life experiences are a little bit, not too much, but there are 3 of us on this podcast now that are techies that work sort of in the space industry. So in the space program. All right, so we're very, very much fans of the scientific method, fans of science in general, and the things that are unexplainable and new discoveries, what have you, things like that. However,
Yep.
there are things out there that science can't explain.
Ooh, I like where you're going.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
He's got a boner. It's really weird.
Santa
Well, it's a
Claus?
chub.
No, not Santa Claus. Santa Claus having a boner would be really strange.
But he only comes once a year.
Oh, hi-yo.
It'd be a lot of buildup, if you know what I mean. That's why it's White Christmas.
Christmas.
No, what I've put together is the top 10 things that science can't figure out.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, let's see where you're going with this.
There's no theme. There's no twist. Nothing like that. There's nothing really. It's all over the place as far as what this
Gotcha,
list is.
but I mean,
Women.
That's 10 through 9, right? Or 10 through 2 right there. It's just women.
But you could say aunts, mothers, grandmas, daughters, cousins that are girls, men who are now girls, who used to be girls, but now are girls.
can I say a quick joke
What?
real quick? It's kind of a joke, but more of like something that makes you think.
All right.
I may have said this on the show before, maybe not this show, but sorry, I didn't mean to bring the show to a halt.
Just get
But
to
she
your
said,
joke.
cousin, just get to the joke. Just get to the funny, man. So cousins, right? Okay. So I want everybody in the room to think about assuming everybody has cousins, right?
All right.
Yeah. Think about your favorite cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think about that person.
Okay.
Got somebody in mind? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your favorite cousin. Now think about this. That cousin of yours has a whole other set of cousins you don't even know.
That's not true.
It's horseshit.
What if you're not your cousin, your favorite cousin's favorite cousin?
That's what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine meeting one of their other cousins?
If you sleep with
hi.
your cousin's cousin, is that somehow wrong?
Whoa,
I have met their other cousin. I have met them.
Okay, I'm not talking about your sister.
What?
You're so.
You're talking about her father's siblings.
Or
There
whatever.
are none.
Okay. Well, what about the other side?
Wham. He
You
was
only have one
gay.
cousin?
What about aunts' children's from
You only
other?
have one cousin?
I have 2 cousins and their brother and sister.
You only have 2 cousins?
Oh, I guess there's the other 2 too.
Look at the number just doubled.
But you said my favorite cousin.
Okay, true that. Okay. Okay, she's
She
making it
caught you in the
difficult.
technicality here, not
Yes,
me.
I know there's going to be technicalities, but I was assuming there wasn't going to be any with 3 people. But yes, they have a whole nother set of cousins that you've never met before.
We're so missing the joke here. She's from Oklahoma. The family trees are straight as a line over there, Tach. Oh, I got a dirty look. Okay. Carry
All right,
on.
never mind. It's ruined now.
That's a great joke, Tach. Good job. buddy.
There's more to it, but it's fine. Just go ahead.
You ruined his joke.
But she doesn't have any other cousins.
I got you.
My uncle's
okay.
brother is gay. He didn't have any kids.
Okay.
Do you want to finish the joke?
There's just not. It's just like imagining meeting like one of those other cousins. Like, hi, I'm Mike's cousin. I'm like, well, no, because I'm Mike's cousin. Fuck you. You know, it's like, it'd be weird. You know, it's like,
If our former co-host Jay Alvarez was dead, he would be turning in his grave right now.
Yeah. What are your family reunions like?
okay,
Very tense.
Okay,
That's what it sounds
so
like.
I do have this worded out properly to work in stand up, but I was working with you and talking to you. And,
You were trying that
and then
on
I got
us?
technicalities, and then I got all this other stuff.
You were trying that bit on us?
Well, yes and no.
If we're your litmus test, don't use that joke.
If it's worded properly, it could work out. This time it was not.
Why?
I'm glad I brought. You can cut that. Can you edit that and make it funnier?
You mean to add in some canned studio laughter?
No, just make it funnier.
Oh,
Or
add in a
cut it
whole
out.
different joke?
Just cut it out.
But listen, go home, record a better joke, send it in, I'll dub that in. All right, guys, let's get some fake laughter. That's good, Tach. We just killed his self-esteem there. All right.
Just read your list.
Okay. Why do I feel like he's going to attack me this entire list? Okay, so top 10 things science can't figure
That's
out.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I knew it was going to go like this. Number 10.
Number 10.
And
The Taos or Taos hum. Does anybody know what this is?
That
The
is
Taoist hum?
something.
You guys got it. Weird. How did you know? No. All right.
Is that
So
the hum that like brings buildings down or something?
no.
Is that like monks do?
it's the sound of the universe.
Oh, I know what it is. It's whenever I have to call like one of my bosses at work and I ask him a simple question.
he
I
goes.
always get a
That's it. That's it. No.
That's how I get.
I like this. Maybe you guys guess. Like I read just the title and you guess.
Okay.
It won't work for some of these. All right. Anyway, so this credit goes to livescience.com for this one. The town of Taos or Taos. I don't know how to pronounce Taos. Maybe Taos. Taos. The town of Taos in north central New Mexico has been home to many famous residents, including Julia Roberts, Dennis Hopper, and a myriad of others. It's a small, laid-back, artsy community that is also home to an unusual mystery, a resident hum of unknown origin. The Taos hum or
I'd hate
Taos
to
hum.
live there. That'd be annoying.
A variety of theories have been offered as an explanation, ranging from the mundane to the fanatic and fantastic. The psychological, the paranormal, all sorts of stuff. Stone hippies, secret government, mind control experiments, underground UFO bases, and everything in between have been blamed. The hum seems to have first been reported back in the early 1990s, so not too long ago. Joe Mullins, a professor of engineering at the University of New Mexico, conducted research into the Taos hum. Based on the survey of residents, only about 2% of the general population was believed to be hearers, is what they're quoted, those who claim to detect the hum. Sensitive equipment was set up in the homes of several of the hearers, measuring sounds and vibrations, but after extensive testing, nothing unusual was detected. As always in science, unexplained does not mean unexplainable. Countless things about the world around us were initially mysterious and unexplained, from causes of germ-borne disease to the nature of lightning, but were eventually explained through the research and science. It's possible that the Taos hum is real and its true origins remain unknown. And it's also possible that the hum only exists in the minds of those who reported it. Now, here's the catch. People would call in after hearing this hum to report it to police. They would call in the 911 operators and let them know there's a strange hum that's been going on. And it never has ended. The people that hear it continue to hear it and report that they're hearing it to the authorities, and nobody can find out the source of the hum.
So you're saying that the same people that hear it all at the same time?
Yes, they all hear it together. It's synonymous. They
It's
absolutely hear it.
aliens.
Well, so one of the predictions that was the most interesting is that it's at a certain frequency, like low frequency, like let's say around 20 hertz, something that's very, very low that a lot of humans cannot audibly hear. You can't detect it. like those little hearing tests that you go in for, raise your hand when you hear the beep, raise the right hand if it's the right ear, left hand if it's the left ear. Some people can't hear certain frequencies.
Right.
So perhaps that 2% of population are the only 2% that can hear that particular frequency that this hum is actually being generated at. The problem I have with that is science can't pick it up on instruments, so it's very hard to detect.
Another thing that's hard too about low frequency like that is it's hard to detect the source, like where low frequencies come from too. It's higher frequencies, it's easier to pick out, like, oh, it's coming from that direction or whatever.
The most interesting theory on this that I read about was lava flow. So New Mexico is not exactly known to have active lava flowing underground. However, if it's deep enough, and New Mexico has tons of mountains and very rocky surfaces, those rocky surfaces can be a conductor for that sound to travel up and then emit at the other end of that solid surface, being that rock or that mountain. Yeah. So theoretically, there could be lava flow underground that is creating a resonant hum or some sort of sound vibration, and then transmitting it up through the speakers in this case, which would be the mountains that are surrounding the city. It's theoretically possible, but science has not been yet able to identify what's causing that sound.
I find it difficult too if there's no electronic detectors that can detect it.
So the article said that, again, this is from livescience.com. So I read the article and they said none of the scientists have been able to actually show that they've recorded the sound. However, YouTubers have tons of them, but it's hard to understand if they're actually authentic or not, because I can create a tone and frequency on my computer and say it's that, and then point a camera out into the fucking desert and say, okay, yeah, here's where it's coming from. Yeah. But it's hard to believe that. I take Live Science's word on this one because it's obvious that they've sent some sort of scientific equipment out and tried to detect it and couldn't. Yeah. But residents, and no relation to some of these residents. It's not like a friend told a friend told a friend. It's, different people at different times of day, night, whatever, have reported this ongoing sound that seems to be bothering them to the authorities, and no one can figure out where it's coming from.
Interesting.
Bizarre.
Peculiar. Number 9.
Number 9.
I call this one Andrea's favorite.
What?
Santa
Claus.
It's not Santa Claus.
That's my sparkly unicorns.
Oh, I know.
Disney princesses.
Alyssa will like this one too.
Oh, then never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
It does have to do with cats.
I was going to say multiple orgasms, but
yeah, that wouldn't be appropriate. All right. Although we assume that a cat's purr is an expression of pleasure, or it's a means of communication with its young, perhaps the reasons for purring can be deciphered from the more stressful moments of a cat's life. Cats often purr when under duress, such as during a visit to the veterinarian or recovery from an injury. Thus, not all purring cats appear to be content or pleased with their current circumstances. Mm-hmm. This riddle has led researchers to investigate how cats purr, which is also still under debate. Scientific community has not agreed exactly how a cat purrs.
It's the motor.
Scientists have demonstrated that cats produce a purr through intermittent signaling of the laryngeal and diaphragmatic muscles. Probably said that wrong. Cats purr during both inhalation and exhalation with a consistent pattern and frequency between 25 and 150 hertz. It's a bassy fucking cat right there.
Right.
It's all about that bass.
Various investigations have shown that sound frequencies in this range can improve bone density and promote healing, which is pretty interesting. Because cats have adapted to conserve energy via long periods of rest and sleep, it is possible that purring is a low-energy mechanism that stimulates muscles and bones without a lot of energy. The durability of I'm not going to read the rest of this. Basically, what this says is science has potentially found what is causing the vibration to cause the cats to purr, but they don't understand why or how it happens. Mm-hmm. The most interesting article about this is that it helps to increase the cat's bone density and long-term health.
Maybe it's the reason is for that because cats aren't very active. So they have to have some sort of stimulation to the bones to kind of keep them.
Potentially. The studies actually show that cats have lower percentages of osteoporosis and bone disease and different types of typical arthritic issues that other types of animals in the animal kingdom
If
have.
that's true, then maybe we should be looking into this.
So we should start purring.
Actually, I think we should
We
just
should
start
look-
listening to a lot of bass.
Or should be something maybe the space program should be looking into.
Ooh, bone density, purring while you're in the space station. That's a really good idea, Tach.
Did I just become smarter than, who was it?
Bill Nye?
Bill
I don't
Nye?
know.
Who was it that you said earlier?
Neil deGrasse
Oh, Neil
Tyson.
deGrasse Tyson.
That's
yeah.
a really good theory, because if cats purr to increase bone density at long periods of rest, and one of the biggest problems in space is the deterioration of calcium from our bones, wow, Tach. You need to write.
Cracked it.
You need to write your old buddy over there at SpaceX,
Elon Musk?
Elon
Yeah.
email, just
Send him an email.
Elon at SpaceX.notreallyanAddress.com.
Close. It's close.
Well, they should put a cat in space and see what happens to its bones.
I've
it's
seen it where they
purring.
took a cat up in the vomit comet before. That cat was not happy.
Couldn't they just put it to sleep till they're there?
Well, I wasn't thinking about the trip. I was just thinking about being weightless.
Birds very quickly learn to adapt to being weightless. Did you know that?
I saw a bird in the vomit comet once. too.
Really? Explain to our listeners what the vomit comet is, please.
The vomit comet is it's a large plane that goes
It's like 747.
up and
It's a
down.
big ass plane.
Yeah, it goes straight up, and then it just free falls basically for like 30 seconds or 20 seconds or
Yeah,
That's
you
I forget how long.
you get a pretty good amount of time.
yeah, and that's basically makes you weightless. So that's how they shot a lot of Apollo 13 in that movie. They shot in the vomit comet. So it creates that weightless, and it's good for training and shit like that.
I want to do
It's
that.
also good for fun. You can do it. It costs money. You just go and do it. A lot of people get sick, from what I hear.
Hence
Ooh,
the name.
I don't want to go with a lot of people then.
It goes like up and down, up and down. I've seen porns shot on this thing before too.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, so we've gone from the Taos hum to cats purring. Again, these are
Yep.
all things that science can't figure out. What do you think the next one is?
Jesus Christ! I don't fucking.
You
Santa
like that
Claus.
range?
Yeah.
Nowhere in this list is Santa Claus. I would never attack Santa Claus like that. I believe he exists. I get presents from Santa Claus at Christmas.
Multiple orgasms.
That
Is that anywhere on the
exists.
list?
That's the next one. No, gravity.
That exists.
I knew that. I the first time you
Yes,
That makes sense.
that's the first thing I thought of when you mentioned the name of this list. I was
Yep.
going to say gravity, but I was like, oh, I don't.
Again, referencing live science. By the way, the cat one came from Scientific American. The gravity is coming from live science again. In the deepest depths of space, gravity tugs on matter to form galaxies, stars, black holes, and the like. In spite of its infinite reach, however, gravity is the wimpiest of all forces in the universe.
It's true.
You okay, buddy?
How come you didn't ask me that when I coughed twice?
You cough 7 times a minute, Tag. It's hard to... And his was so bad he pushed the mic away. Tag just go...
Hey, cack. Yeah.
We're good. We're good. My fault.
That's all good. Just checking on you. This weakness also makes it the most mysterious, as scientists can't measure it in the laboratory as easily as they can detect its effects on planets and
Called a
stars.
scale.
Well, you can't. There's no way to generate gravity, so they can't emulate
Right.
to do any kind of testing on.
Didn't they just open a new a new label for a new field of research on gravity? Multiple sender research or something like that.
That's not on gravity. That's on detection of gravitational waves, and it's called multi-messenger astrophysics. Yes. See, I do study this shit in my spare time. Multi-messenger astrophysics is not on this list. The repulsion between two positively charged protons, for example, is anyone?
I didn't know
10,
what you said.
10 to the 36th power.
Oh, never mind.
That's the repulsion between two positively charged protons. That's 10 to the 36th power. That means a 1 followed by 36 zeros less macho. So that is how much stronger the protons are in comparison to gravity. Physicists want to squeeze gravity into the standard model. Anyone know what the standard model is?
Nope.
Einstein's general theory of relativity.
Oh.
That's the crown jewel of modern physics. But no one has succeeded. Like a runt at a pool party, gravity just doesn't fit in when using Einstein's theory of relativity, which explains gravity only on large scales. Quote, gravity is completely different from the other forces described by the standard model, said Mark Jackson, a theoretical physicist.
Feminist.
A theoretical physicist from the Fermi Lab in Illinois. quote, when you do some calculations about small gravitational interactions, you get stupid answers. The math simply doesn't work. Gravity is literally something that doesn't fit into the smartest man's mind that we've had over the last several hundred years. It does not fit into the standard model, which is basically what all of astrophysics is based around. Scientists know it's there, but they have no idea how to study gravity, how to emulate gravity, how to simulate it, even how to add it up on math. They can't figure out the math of gravity.
Yeah, it's nuts, and that's great for flat earthers when you're trying to explain. You know. Oh. Sorry, I saw somebody throw a pillow over there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And the dog was getting on the couch, and I was like, "Oh, it's just the dog." The dog threw the pillow up higher.
Really?
I think so.
He can open doors too.
He's a smart dog.
He does. He opens up the front door. It's ridiculous. All right, number 7.
Number seven.
7.
Tach's really going to like this one.
Yay.
This is the placebo effect.
Oh, nice.
This one literally took inspiration from the Adam Ruins Everything episode where he debunked a bunch of shit, and part of it was the placebo effect.
Debunked the placebo effect?
Well, no, not really. He actually gave a lot of credit to the placebo effect and how it works. He debunked a lot of other parts. I don't even remember what that episode really was all about.
He explained why the placebo effect isn't measurable in any way, but then also turned around by saying it's super useful and explained why it's actually really good
and
scientifically.
It works.
And it works.
You guys are so noisy. Just open them all up. That way you don't...
Are y'all going to eat all of Alyssa's candy?
I haven't eaten any of it yet. Well, I mean, I have, but I'm looking for pink ones.
Tat keeps
And
throwing me
give-
candy. I can't help it.
I'm throwing him the red ones. I don't like the red ones. Sorry, continue.
It's all right, Tach. I'm going to eat fucking lollipop on your episode.
Why, so you can give me a boner the whole time?
Weird. All right, placebo effect. Credit goes to cracked.com for this.
Oh, nice.
For this little piece. It's obvious why some placebos work. A guy says he's feeling nauseous. You give him a sugar pill and tell him it'll cure it. He stops worrying about his stomach. Thus, the stomach calms down, which would directly affect the stomach acids from building up more because of anxiety. You immediately cure his anxiety, which in effect takes care of his symptoms. So his brain fixes that. The herbal Viagra industry, from products like Extends and other sexual performance enhancing drugs, by making a man think he's taken something that will enhance his sexual prowess. However, it doesn't actually do anything for blood flow to the penis. It does nothing.
What?
No, not at all.
What?
That's
but
amazing.
The placebo effect goes way, way beyond that. Completely imaginary drugs have been found to help everything from warts to heart disease to asthma. Doctors have even gone so far as to conduct a sham knee surgery that were almost as effective as the real thing.
What? Like they cut somebody open for no reason?
Yep, they cut him open, did some stuff in the knee, not actually fix the knee, and then suddenly after, a few months of recovery time, the patient's knee is healed. So it's using the body's power to heal itself.
Well, that's a bit much. Other than it's one thing taking a sugar pill; it's another to actually go all the way through surgery. You know what I mean?
But it works, and it's been shown to work.
How did they do that? They couldn't have done that test in America.
Probably not. No. Get your ass sued for that.
Yeah, like, hey, I paid you a dick ton of money to fix my knee.
It's fixed, isn't it? You're able to use it. Yeah, but that's not the point. I want the stitches. I want the cartilage rebuild. I want that in there. So anyway, that's the placebo effect. Actually has real scientifically proven cures, but science doesn't understand how it works because they don't understand the human body and how the human body.
It's the same way that, when you clap your hands if you believe, like in Peter Pan.
Every time a bell rings.
No.
All right. Did she say no?
She said no.
She just said no.
That was not Peter Pan.
Oh, I know it wasn't Peter Pan, but all right, man. I thought Tach was being a dick.
Not being a dick.
This one goes to economist.com. The credit goes to economist.com for this next one. Oh, by the way, this is number 6.
Number 6.
Leaves.
What?
Science cannot figure out leaves.
What do you mean?
Why?
Science can't figure them out. There's something specific about them that it can't figure out. See if you guys can guess what it is.
Why they have veins.
No, that's a good angle because
Why
leaves have
they-
similar patterns as some of the other repeatable patterns in science or in nature, but no.
Why they change color?
No. That's easy to predict. That's pigment. That was
Why
easy.
they fall off
Nope.
and regrow.
Nope.
I don't know what else leaves do. Why they blow? I don't know what else leaves do.
Specifically, leaves do something to re-energize the plant that they're attached to, a certain process.
Does that have something to do with movement?
Photosynthesis.
Oh, bam! Nailed it right off the bat. Photosynthesis, yes.
I was
So-
just about to say photosynthesis.
Good job, Tack. Tack.
Thanks.
You can have another starburst then.
Oh, yay. I want a pink one. Is that a red one?
No, we need to quit eating Alyssa's candy.
Oh, but
Her
she's going to have
favorite
a
is
bunch
pink.
more on Tuesday.
She'll have 80 pounds of candy come Tuesday.
Good point.
All right. As renewable energy sources go, solar is the big one. The sun delivers about as much energy to the earth every hour as mankind consumes in a year. So think about that for a minute on the scale. But our ability to harness sunlight remains limited. Despite decades of research, the very best photovoltaic cell, this kind seen on many roofs, converts sunlight into electrical energy with an efficiency of around 35%. For more affordable cells, the figure is closer to about 20%. Plants accomplish the same process, but with 90% efficiency during the first stage of photosynthesis. How is it so effective? Photosynthesis starts when leaves. I'm not going to go. Look, I'm not going to bore you with how photosynthesis works.
Oh, thank God.
There,
I was like, science.
there are. That's what this whole episode's about. Is
I meant,
Science.
I was thinking like
I knew I was going to lose you in this
elementary
episode.
science.
She knows.
I'm the one that got photosynthesis,
I
right?
guess that's a good point. I guess that's a good point.
Jeez.
So there is something that plants do that's considerably different, and it's how it spreads the chlorophore chemicals or molecules throughout the body of the leaf, and then transfer it down to the core of the plant, delivering the nutrients. And it's using something called excitons, preserving excitons. I'm going to read this little piece here because this is why it was so fascinating to me. Leaves actually use a form of quantum physics to charge themselves using the sun. If we can figure out how they do it, then we will have unlimited reusable energy here on Earth, and we won't have to worry about fossil fuels quite so much
Why don't you just ask them?
as the leaves.
You can learn a lot of things from the flowers, especially in the month of June. Alice in Wonderland, the talking flowers.
Duh.
I don't remember that song. Efficiently converting light into electrical. God damn it. Efficiently converting light into electricity requires preserving the exciton's energy as it travels deep within the so-called reaction center of the leaf. The exciton's energy can then be redeployed into reshuffling the consistent atoms within the water and carbon dioxide molecules into a simple sugars and oxygen. Sugars and oxygen. We need more air and we need to eat more cake. I think that's the key. The key to preserving the exciton's energy lies in the way it travels to the reaction center. Researchers discovered, to their great surprise in 2007, that plants use a bit of trickery from the realm of quantum physics to help excitons find their way. Rather than bumping randomly through the forest of chlorophyll molecules until they happen to reach their destination, excitons are in what is known as coherences. In effect, each exciton spreads out all over the possible paths simultaneously and then funnels down through the most efficient route. So it's kind of like how electricity works. It goes everywhere until it finds its single source, and then it focuses all of its energy to that single fastest way to get down to its destination, to get to its end point. So finding the fastest path. So yes, leaves use quantum physics and plants use quantum physics for harnessing the most of the sun's energy. Pretty neat, huh? Scientists can't figure out exactly how they do it yet, but they know what it does. They just don't know how.
It's cool.
It was cool.
And it's time for a break.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was number 6. So
I guess
that's
so.
10 through 6. All right, we're going to take a break in studio, listen to a little bit of DJ Gil Lugo, and we'll be back here in just a minute.
Hey, Tech, you ever have that conversation with your girl about where to eat dinner and it always turns into that back and forth? I don't know, you pick.
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got an answer for you next time that comes up.
Oh, yeah? We're at...
The Salty Fox in Melbourne off of Old Galley Boulevard.
Oh, nice. You know, I've actually been there, and the food was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, it was. They offer a great selection of paninis, shareable appetizers, soups, and salads, and one of the best desserts I've ever had, the Funky Monkey.
Oh, yeah. My favorite was the vintage options. They got this meal called ramen noodle on crack. You just got to try it out.
Done. That's definitely what I'm getting next time.
Put the fun between your legs at the Salty Fox every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. with the Oak Galley Arts District Bike Crawl.
It's a 4-mile bicycle ride down Pineapple Avenue with stops for food and beer all along the route. Be sure to visit the Salty Fox every Sunday for brunch from 11 to 4.
Hey, isn't that the $10 bottomless mimosas brunch?
Sure is. Enjoy your brunch while the Salty Fox's DJ spins throwbacks and top 40 hits.
Salty Fox is located in the downtown Oak Galley Art District on Oak Galley Boulevard.
Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/saltyfoxmelbourne or online at thesaltyfox.net.
Hey, listeners, be sure to mention you heard about the Salty Fox on our show, and you'll get 10% off your meals.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is now a proud sponsor with Living Podcariously and the Twisted 10 podcasts.
It's more than just about commercials, though. The cast here will be taking our show on the road to Village Idiot to record some episodes as well as hold events. They have over 30 beers on tap, including ciders and Hefeweizen, my favorite, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
Adam, you forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner, Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs.
Mention either one of our shows to the staff and get 10% off your tab.
Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
And I want my favorite DJ to give everybody the word. Who's on the turntables tonight, my son?
That is DJ on 2 turntables.
DJ Gilgo.
The skill is extraordinary.
Throw the switch and let us begin.
Hey, it's Adam. If you enjoy the hosts or the content of the Twisted 10, be sure to check out our other show. It's called Living Podcariously. While the Twisted 10 may get crass and explicit occasionally, it holds no water to Living Podcariously. We do get a little bit more rough and raw on that show. We have a lot of fun producing it and have had some awesome guests. And as always, thanks for listening. Science!
Science!
Welcome back to the Twisted 10. This is the top 10 things science can't figure out. I'll recap 10 through 6 for you. The Taos hum was number 10. Purring cats was number 9. Gravity was number 8. And by the way, that research led me down several rabbit holes on the internet of, what's the band that rapped about magnets?
Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse. Magnets. What do they do? Number 7 was a placebo effect, and leaves using photosynthesis and quantum something.
Physics?
Mechanics.
Quantum mechanics for harnessing the sun's energy. So that brings us to number 5.
Number 5.
I like that. This number 5 is called Nagaballs.
Nagaballs.
What's this?
Does anybody know what Nagaballs are?
Are those the balls that women stick up inside their junk?
I think those are Benoit.
Okay.
Benoit, are those the balls you're holding in your hand to exercise with?
Nope. You
What are
don't
those
hold them
called?
in your hand.
Oh, you don't?
Not Benoit balls.
Benoit balls are to tighten up the Kegel muscles?
Yep.
Man, I should have done an episode on Kegel and vaginas.
What?
What happened?
Dog fart.
Oh,
Naga balls?
Nagaball.
Naga. I say Naga. It could be Naga. It's Naga. Yes.
Innate Naga balls.
I'll give you the other name of them, and you tell me if you know what they are.
Okay.
They're also known as the Mekong lights.
Mekong lights?
Oh, well, if we put it that way, I totally...
Yeah.
All right. Naga fireballs, also known as Mekong lights, are a phenomenon said to be often seen on the Mekong River. Glowing balls are alleged to naturally rise from the water high into the air. The balls are said to be reddish and range in size from small sparkles up to the size of basketballs. They quickly rise up to a couple hundred meters before disappearing or dissipating.
Orbs.
Well, there's lots of theories on them. The number of fireballs reported varies between tens and thousands per night. The phenomenon is named after Pahaya Naga, legendary serpentine creatures said to be living in the Mekong. Although the fireballs are regularly seen on the river during a certain festival called Payanak Festival, a 2002 ITV documentary showed Laotian soldiers firing tracer rounds into the air across the river from the festival. Skeptics said basically that when a fireball would be shot up, or basically a tracer round, the crowd would all applaud and get excited. Well, what that would do, it would dampen the sound from across the river several miles away, so the sound takes longer to get there than the lights do.
Right.
So they would be cheering over the sound of the gunfire that would be heard. That's not the case, though. That's a theory, but that's not the case. Some individuals have attempted to scientifically explain this phenomenon. One explanation is that the fireball is a result of flammable phosphine gas generated by the marshy environment. Dunning, who is the theorist that came up with this, writes that such fireballs are very unlikely to spontaneously ignite and would not stay lit when traveling at the speeds the fireballs are seen rising at, and that there is no science that can explain Naga fireballs to be naturally produced burning gas bubbles. These are real things. The shots being fired in the sky. Are you pulling up a video on it?
I'm looking at a video of them now. These are weird.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. So they're best seen at night, obviously, but they're said to happen during the daytime as well. They literally shoot up from this river and they go sky high. I mean, it's very bizarre. You can see them coming out of the river, like if you have a surface that you're looking across.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to have audio.
Good job. That was a porn, wasn't it, Tach? Yeah, I know what you're watching over there. Fuck this podcast.
I'm watching balls for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. There was tons of videos, a little bit of audio, but it was mostly just crowd cheering, so you can't really hear anything. But there is some faint sounds that come along with those things when they rise up out of the water as well, and it just sounds like a little. I mean, it's not nothing impressive, but it's interesting and it's real. I mean, the funny part of the article was the tracer rounds. Andrew, do you know what tracer rounds are?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Ready trace around.
No, tracer. So, if you shoot a gun, you don't see the bullet travel. You don't actually see that because it's going too fast and it's too small. However, in some circumstances, they'll insert these little bullets that aren't actual bullets. I mean, they are bullets, but they aren't rounds like the other bullets in the magazine would be. What they are is an indication of where the bullet is traveling to the perspective.
Just tracing it around.
It shows the path of the bullets that are going. So you can hone in on your target. They're often used in things like aircrafts that have guns attached to them, like a helicopter that has guns hanging out the side of it. They'll put tracer rounds, like every 10th bullet will be a tracer, so it helps the gunner see where those bullets are going to get a more accurate target.
Yeah, they're when I shot an M60, we had tracer rounds, I think every 9th round or something like that, and that's so awesome to see. It looks like you're shooting lasers.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Josh and I were witness to something in Iraq that is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's if you don't know what's going on, it will scare the shit out of you because it literally looks like Star Wars. So were we in Basra? We were in Basra at the time.
You're talking about we were in
Phalanx?
Basra when we were on the roof.
Yeah,
that was Basra.
So we're in Basra, Iraq. Josh and I go way back, by the way. So history for Mr. Wilson and I go way back, by the way. We've known each other for somewhere around 10 years at this point. Yeah. Been to many countries together and worked at many weird locations together. One of those was Basra. In Basra, Tach, you may know this from being in the military, but they have these little R2-D2 looking robots that basically watch for incoming mortars or rockets from bad guys, and it will literally detect it in the sky and then shoot a barrage of bullets or explosive shells at the general location of where this is going to be.
Countermeasures?
Yes, and it blows them out of the sky with a success rate that's pretty damn high. I mean, if you think about a rocket traveling in, it's coming at 400, 500 miles an hour, and for a machine to be able to find it, predict where it's going, shoot the rounds ahead of it, and blow up in the air in front of it to deter it, That's pretty cool science.
Yeah.
Well, they were
math.
They were, motherfucker. Yes, you're right. They were doing. There was 3 of them in Basra, and Josh and I happened to be doing some work on our IT equipment at night up on top of one of the buildings in Iraq, in Basra, and they gave the warnings that they were going to go off, and we kind of knew about this ahead of time, so maybe we scheduled ourselves to be up there, but whatever. What they were doing is they were expending all the shells to dismantle these devices because they were pulling out of that part of Basra, and they were moving their camp somewhere else. So they had to fire the rounds to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And they fired them in safe locations, which basically they shot cross streams of each other with all 3 of them and blew up the rounds in the air. But all of those things are visible. Those rounds are like tracer rounds. So we got to see these Star Wars effects shooting across the sky in the middle of the night. And the cool thing is, because sound travels slower than light, you see all of this happening, and then about 10 seconds later, you hear it happening.
We can put a link up to a video. I have a video of that night. On my
No
YouTube
shit.
channel. Yeah, of that night. Yeah, from the Phalanx.
Dude,
Nice.
if you want to see the video I'm talking about, we'll put a link. Check the show notes. You'll see a link to the YouTube video. You have to send that to me so I can make sure to edit it in. But anyway, these balls are unexplainable, Tach.
Yeah, I just watched a little video of it. It's interesting.
Isn't it?
It's not what I expected, what it looks like.
Well, I think you'll know what this next one, what it looks like.
Okay.
Number 4.
Number 4.
This one's pretty simple. This is cows eating.
Oh, they're farts.
No, it has nothing to do with methane.
Hmm.
This one just has to do with the consumption of food. Just has to do with eating.
Don't they have like 5 stomachs or some shit?
Yeah, they have several stomachs. By the way, the last one, I'm giving credit to Wikipedia and crack.com because Wikipedia is always right. For the cows eating, for number 4, this credit goes to Quora, Quora.com. A German biologist, Heinrich Beruda, from University of Duisburg, and his team analyzed over 8,000 cows in 6 continents of the world, a total of 308 images from all of these different cows, and they realized that cows only face north or south while eating and resting. And it's not north on the compass, it's true magnetic north that they face.
I've heard this theory before.
Now, the north and the magnetic north are around 1,000 miles from each other, and the cows always faced either magnetic north or magnetic south when eating and resting. No exceptions. Most of the times, the wind direction comes from the east and west, and cows theoretically don't like to have wind blown in their faces, so they think it might have something to do with that. However, it's very eerie that they only face magnetic north and magnetic south. It's super bizarre. Science cannot figure that out. A few scientists believe that just like other wild animals with a sense of magnetic fields, cows were wild animals as well before mankind kind of harnessed them. So they think it's some sort of instinctual leftover from prior existences of cows.
Now, I heard about this theory, and I actually watched a documentary on it, and they actually did some testing that by putting cows in this like area where they could reverse like polarity inside this metal structure or whatever,
really? To
see if the cows would turn. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what the results were.
Oh, super anticlimactic.
I know. I was going to say, and they didn't do anything, but then I was like, well, shit, maybe they did. I can't remember now. But you have to Google that shit. So look it up.
Yeah,
there's a whole documentary. I don't know if it's a whole documentary or a piece of a documentary, but they did a study on it, and it's on video somewhere. So
it's like blue balls, Tach. What the fuck?
I know. Sorry.
By the way, any of these, so keep in mind that our research department is not too extensive here at the Twisted 10. It's just us. So if any of these, if you have information that debunks any of these as science can't explain it and you say that it can, please shoot us an email to thetwisted10@gmail.com and call Adam stupid. I'm okay with that.
Be careful not to hurt his feelings, though.
Right. Or maybe there's one that you didn't think of and what should be on the list.
Oh, yeah, dude, this list goes on and on and on.
That's a call to action right there.
Oh, yeah. It's tremendous. All right, so number 5 was Nagaballs. Number 4 was cows eating. Number 3.
Number 3.
We're going back to balls again, Tach.
I love balls.
Josh, it's stony balls, though.
Stony balls.
Stony balls. What do you think this is?
I think these are going to be the stones in the desert that move.
That's what I was going to say.
That was one of them. I'll give you credit for that. That was one of the ones that I saw. However,
That was
science
debunked.
Yes, science
Yeah, they
has
figured it
proven that one now. It's basically a mixture of the humidity. Even though there's not very much friction there, there is still enough, and the humidity does rise to the bottom and does allow the stone to pass through the dirt. So they have proven how those stones do move on the desert. No, it's not this one though. It's not that one.
Stony balls?
Stony balls.
I'll give
I
you.
feel like there's another one that I know about, but I can't think of it.
I'll give you a hint. Credit for this one goes to dailyforest.com. Does that help? No, I'm just kidding. All right, Andrea, an idea? Stony
I
balls?
can't think of any other balls.
All right.
Let
I
me-
didn't know
let me
about
show
that.
you.
I'll tell you, I didn't know about this one prior to researching it. So it's not very commonly known, I would think, and I'm pretty skeptical on weird shit like this. Stonehenge is a majestic place to visit, one that is undoubtedly filled with great mystery and nobility. I don't know why nobility is included in this Daily Forest article. Was Stonehenge a religious or spiritual place? Or was it created to welcome aliens to Earth? Who knows? In Costa Rica, there is a similar mystery haunting locals, but it doesn't quite have the curbside appeal that Stonehenge does. Giant stone balls. All over Costa Rica, you can find perfectly spherical stone balls that range in size from bowling balls all the way up to 8 feet in diameter. These balls are littered throughout the country, and the perfect craftsmanship makes them unlikely to have been made by locals with crude tools. Nobody knows where they came from or how they got there. You just do a search for stone balls from Costa Rica, and they're all over the place. People have like taken these balls and using them as, decorations for their house outside and out front. You like you ever go to Target and you see those big balls up front? It's exactly like that, but they're pure solid rock, solid stone, perfectly carved. There's no instruments that would carve it.
Maybe Target put them there.
Target should paint all of the balls in Costa Rica red. That could be a great idea. But there's thousands of these things scattered all over Costa Rica. Nobody has any idea how they got there, where they came from, what their time frame is, their era. It's maybe carbon dating hasn't happened on them yet, but let's assume they're not. Let's assume they're not that old. These are still giant. It would take a massive undermanning to actually put these things all over the country.
Interesting. Two things. One, have you seen this theory that's recently surfaced? I think it's recently surfaced, where there was like a picture of Stonehenge being constructed, like with, and obviously it's a picture, it's modern times, somewhat modern times, like late 1800s or something like that. And it's all been like a hoax this whole time.
Really?
I don't know how, obviously there's probably not a whole lot of truth behind it, but you never know. But there's like a picture or something that surfaced.
That is really interesting.
And another one that Hysteria 51
yeah.
posted an article.
Those are our boys over there. John and Brent, Hysteria 51. By the way, congratulations. You guys hit number 14 in the iTunes charts for the arts section.
Arts section,
So,
yeah.
Hey, good job.
That's
Congratulations.
awesome. They posted an article. They found something about how we might not be in the year that we think we are. Did you read that article?
No.
Because they're saying that we may not be in 2017 because there's a lot of records back in the medieval times that weren't quite accurate. As an example, something about a king or something that was elected or whatever became a king.
Kings aren't elected, buddy.
Well, whatever it is. He became a ruler of some kind, and he was supposed to be like the face of change for like the time. So instead of it being 973 AD, they went ahead and just moved it to 1000 because it's like the new millennial.
Really?
So it was like new millennial, like ruler that's changing things up, that kind of shit.
Always a millennial? Is that what you're
Always
saying?
a
Yeah. So, so the theory is that those records aren't exactly kept correctly, or they weren't.
Oh, so it might not be the year 2000 yet. We might go through the entire Y2K thing again.
Yeah, they're thinking the article says that we may only be in the year 1771.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Which explains why Jesus hasn't come back yet.
There's no time frame on that.
Oh, well, didn't he say like 2,000 years or something like that? I don't know.
I think that was the Mayans.
Mayans are coming back?
I hope so. They were pretty cool. They made some cool calendars.
Ow.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's
derail.
cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we've number 2, by the way.
Number two.
I know, Tach, you know this one. I'm not sure if Josh and Andrea do. Andrea, we've talked about this on the show a long time ago, back at the very end of the Ron days, the very beginning of the Tach and Adam days for Living Podcariously. So way back when.
So this is like AD and BC?
Yes, it
the
is.
The records weren't quite...
I won't make you guess at this unless you know it. The title of this one is Fermi and His Paradox. Does anybody know what the Fermi paradox is?
Nope.
Oh, this is so cool. Okay, this is exciting. Right off the bat, question is, where are all the aliens? This is known as the Fermi paradox and goes like this. There are billions of stars in the galaxy that are older than our sun. Some of those must have Earth-like planets, and presumably some of those must have developed intelligent life. A smaller portion of those should have developed interstellar travel. So why have we not encountered these interstellar traveling aliens? There are as many I
remember we did have the conversation about this,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what it is.
It was actually on Ron's Twisted 10. He talked about the Fermi paradox in his Twisted 10. So plug back to the Ron episode. That one was the top 10 possible human extinction events.
Oh, yeah.
There are as many as 400 billion stars in our galaxy, the Milky Way, and there are more than 170 billion galaxies in the observable universe, just what we can see. Most of those stars have planets, and many of those planets have got to contain useful minerals and fall within the star's habitable zone where liquid water is present. The conditions for life are probably everywhere. But where are all the aliens? The universe has been said to be around 13.8 billion years old. Human beings originated 200,000 years ago, theoretically. They just actually found some bones that might carbon date back past that. So we've only been around for about 0.01% of the age of the universe. An intelligent species could arise on any of those countless worlds and broadcast their existence to the entire galaxy, like we're doing now with simple FM transmission. I mean, everyday radio waves. The baffling contradiction is known as the Fermi paradox, first described in 1950 by physicist Enrico Fermi. So basically, I'll break this down in layman's terms. If there were ever aliens out there, okay, if there are right now, or if there were hundreds of millions of, millions and millions of years ago, the distance between us and where they potentially could be is so big that humanity as a whole can exist and their radio signals would never reach us by the time we're extinct and this planet and our sun has died.
Right.
So the Fermi paradox literally says, based on the speed of light and how light travels, and assuming that that is the constant without some kind of wormhole or some other type of traveling, that we will never, potentially ever, have those interceptions of radio transmissions or any other proof of alien life outside of our solar system in the entire existence of humanity. That's depressing to think about if you're a science geek like me.
How about this one? This is another fun little factoid about talking to other species out there. No signal that Earth has ever sent or will ever send can go beyond 4 light years before becoming undiscernible from the background noise of the universe.
The white noise of the universe. Yeah. The universe projects radio waves. It's really strange. That was going to be, damn, Josh, here's another one for you. That was going to be another one of these on this list. The noise, the radio frequencies that do come from space are generated from somewhere. So there's a large radio satellite in Argentina, I believe, that big one built into the side of the mountain. Is that Brazil, Argentina, wherever? South American country. They listen for that, and they track where those radio signals come from for all that interstellar noise. The weird thing is, we're on the edge of our solar system, all right? So we're on the edge of the Milky Way. I say solar system. We're on the edge of our galaxy. We're on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. The sounds are emitted from the other direction than the galaxy, which is the weird part. So towards the dark part of space outside of our galaxy is where the white noise from space is coming from, not towards the center.
Yep.
Which is really, really bizarre. Science cannot explain that. It's another good one for this list, but not as good as number 1.
Is that it?
Yeah, that was
Number 1.
Number 1.
This is, to me, probably the coolest thing that Hubble has been able to see and pick up on. This is called Tabby's star. You guys familiar with that? You might know it by its professional name.
Sounds like a foundation for getting money for some sickness or something. Tabby Star.
Tabby Star is also known as the star KIC 8462852. Does that make it?
Oh,
do you know it now?
Yeah, jeez. Why didn't you say that?
All right, so that star doesn't just have a snappy, memorable name. It also has an unsolved anomaly 1,500 light years
An explosion?
away. No.
You told me an anomaly is an explosion.
Your anomalies are. No.
Your anomalies are.
KIC is an acronym for Kepler Input Catalog, and then the number is just the catalog number.
Right.
Colloquially, names Tabby Star and Boyajian's star refer to the initial study's leads. Tabitha S. Boyajian is sometimes called the WTF star after the study's other subtitle, Where's the Flux? See what I did there? Where's the flux? What the fuck? Okay. There's something big in the way of Tabby's star. About 20% of the light the star emits is blocked from our vantage point. And this is a star. That's a lot of fucking light.
Yeah.
And it's probably not a planet. They've determined that it's theoretically not a planet. Even one as large as Jupiter.
It's a space station.
That's no moon. Even one as large as Jupiter would only block 1% of a star the size of Tabby's star. Some have suggested that it's a Dyson swarm, a less complete version of a megastructure known as a Dyson sphere. Dyson spheres surround stars and harness all the energy of the star. It's a theoretical construct that doesn't actually exist to us. But they harness all of the emitted sunlight, turn it into harnessable energy, and then they can reuse that energy for other purposes. Other people have theorized that it's a planet with the largest rings that we have ever been able to predict or theorize about. So it's got rings that are the size of our entire solar system that are around a single star, interfering with everything. But there is something that is in the way of this star, blocking 20% of its light from reaching Earth. And nobody knows what it is.
Weird.
The Dyson sphere structure is super cool to me. So what they're theorizing is that there are millions of satellites basically that surround this star and harness that energy and refocus the light elsewhere to generate power for whatever super species is out there.
Maybe it's multiple satellites that keeps covering at the same time.
Well, but even a planet as large as Jupiter, and you're referring to satellites as being a planet in this case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it is a planet, even if it's on a perfect spherical plane for us to be able to detect it with our instruments here on Earth, even if it's planets as big as Jupiter, it would take 20 Jupiters to equal the amount of light that whatever's blocking the light would be. So
maybe it's multiple that are just happen to be coming around. I don't know.
It would have to be consistent. It's a consistent drop of 20% all the time on that star. Unknown. Nobody knows what it is. And the really positive outlook on this is next year, 2018, NASA is launching something called the James Webb Telescope. And this is going to be the mankind's most powerful telescope, allowing us to see so far and so deep into space that it's incomprehensible to an uneducated mind. I don't even really understand how the physics behind this telescope work, but it will be launched sometime in 2018. Prepare to have that device find proof of life on another planet.
That'll be awesome. I remember when the Hubble was launched, and I was so excited about that. And
took them another 5 years to fix the mirror, but that's okay. That's all right. They got it working, and Hubble's done wonders for us.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. Hubble's still true, man.
Hubble helped us discover a lot.
Yeah. Hubble's
especially when they pointed it in the dark space.
Yep. Patches
that
of space.
Sounds so scary when you say that.
What?
The dark space.
Well, they noticed there was like a dark patch, and they're like, well, let's point it that way and see what we find. Oh, look, thousands more galaxies.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Hubble turned our perceivable universe much larger than it was. Much, much larger. And James Webb is going to have the same level of impact as Hubble had comparison to radio satellite or radio telescopes back in the day. So you're going to see some amazing things that are going to happen here with James Webb sometime next year.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait for that.
What's great is that it shouldn't take long to get online. So, I mean, once it's up there, you put it in position, it should be good.
Unless the mirrors are out of whack.
Right. And they do correct thing, like, what we do metric system, or we're going to do, make sure we're on the right. So, yeah. Should be good.
That's my list, boys and girl.
It's a good list.
It was fascinating.
Best
Yeah.
list ever.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I love that kind of shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was
I'm a
geeking
nerd.
out pretty hard over that.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so this is the kind of shit that I like to ponder over. All right, so hey, we have 2 guests. Technically, we have 3 guests lined up for the next 3 weeks. Josh, I'm giving you a warning now. Your episode is in a month.
Oh, sweet.
All right, so you have a month to prep and bring us your first Twisted
Who's
10.
next?
It's going to be good.
What?
Who's doing the next list?
Out of us?
Whoever.
Oh, next week?
Next, you
Yeah.
want to know the guests that I was just talking about?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's a guest, I'll figure it out later. But
I can pull it up.
okay, who's our guest? Be our guest. Be our guest.
I see what you did there.
Get your worries off your chest. Let us say for your entree, we've an array that we suggest. Try the bread, try the fruit, when the croutons loop-de-loop. It's a treat for any diner. Don't believe me, ask the China.
All right, so for next week, next Sunday, we have a return guest host, one of our first return guests to the show. He had so much fun doing his original top 10 list on the top 10 Simpsons facts.
Oh,
Rocky Soka
Soka's
with
coming back.
What's the Fuss
That's right.
podcast is coming back to the studio. Hopefully he brings the other guys with him. They were a blast. Well, we saw Bill last time, but hopefully he brings everybody at you with him this time as well. But Rocky's up next week, so I can't wait for that. The week after that,
Rocky's a good shit.
yeah, Rocky's a good guy. The next week after that, we've got another podcast host out of Orlando. I think he lives in Claremont. I'll have to look exactly, but his name is John Hannon. He's a listener of our show. He loves it. He's going to come in and host one.
I know him.
And then the week after that, we're going green, fellas. We're going green. For the theme of the podcast, at least. Maybe we can all dress in green.
So
For Thanksgiving?
no paper. So no paper.
No green
Right?
paper.
Oh,
Dabs K with Burn It Down podcast is coming over.
That's
So
right.
I
I
anticipate.
thought it was the Jolly Green Giant.
He's a big guy. He's
he's a big
6'4",
dude.
6'5". He's pretty big.
Is he the Jolly Green Giant?
He's not green.
Maybe it's a disguise.
Racist. Okay.
So
Against green?
if you listen to
Yeah.
the Burn It Down show, you might have an idea as to what his list might be about. But we'll just leave it there for now. Maybe he'll bring in the top 10 sparkly unicorn designs. Who knows?
I doubt that.
There's only one.
But I know what he'd be doing.
Your street credibility just went down there, Tach.
Well, I know because of the old reference, but it worked in my language. It was
Yeah.
a pun.
I
It
can't
was
wait.
funny.
I can't wait to hear the Twisted 10 start off with so. That's Dabs K's catchphrase over there. Anyway, all right, guys, let's close up the show. Get out of here.
Okay.
Tach, you got to drive home too.
I know. I'm tired.
Good night.
Let's promote real quick our Patreon, patreon.com/thetwisted10. Go on there, take a look at the rewards. Give us $1 if you enjoy the show. We don't make a whole lot of money on this. The sponsors help to cover some of the bills, but we don't like flooding you with tons and tons of ads, and we like to produce a lot more content than ads. So go check out Patreon if you're enjoying the show. Please give us $1 or $5 or $10
Or 50.
We want to send a special thanks out to Mr. Clay Groves with the Fish Nerd Podcast. He is one of our Patreon donors. So, Mr. Clay Groves, thank you so
sir.
much, buddy.
Thank you.
I love seeing your videos, man. Keep them up. And if you guys are interested in a really, really funny show that's themed around fishing, go check out the Fish Nerds. It is a fantastic show. He has amazing guests that come on there, to include 2 PhDs who gave us some pretty good insight on our flat Earth response episode that has yet to be aired. Just saying. He gave us some great audio for that. So please go check out the Fish Nerds podcast. Clay, thank you again, buddy. We greatly appreciate it. We need to have you back in to do another Twisted 10, by the way.
Yes.
All right. Tach, how can they follow us?
They can follow us on social media, which would be Twitter. They can follow us at the Twisted 10. They can also follow us. Check out our Instagram page. You always wonder what Adam looks like. Really, everybody just wants to see Andrea. We should
That's a good point.
It's the Andrea page. So
That's true.
every time I show
No.
people, like, they always say, "Oh, she sounds hot," and then I show a picture of Andrea. They're like, "Holy shit!"
Are you showing the naked pictures?
Always.
No, that's for me. Those are just for me.
Just for him.
Yeah, and they can also on Facebook as well. Just search Twisted 10, and there's a page. Go ahead and like it, follow it, whatever.
You got it. Mr. Wilson, we can't wait to hear your Twisted 10.
It's gonna
Do you
be
have
fun.
do you have a teaser, maybe, for what the topic is? A teaser? You don't have to give it away if you don't want to.
What would be a hint from my top?
Is it as nerdy as mine?
No.
Oh.
Does it involve balls?
Yeah,
It involves balls.
a lot.
A lot of balls?
Yeah.
Well, that's it, right
Well,
there.
that could be a play on words. It could be ballsy to do his
Top
list.
10
Well, that's
balls.
it. That's it. Don't guess. Don't guess. That's it.
Top
Alright.
10 balls.
Top 10 types of balls in the world. You got your big balls. You got your small balls. You got your tasty balls. And you got your chocolate balls.
I've got big balls. She's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all.
AC/DC.
My
Yes.
balls are always
He did
down
this the last
to
time we
left
did
and
this.
to
He
the
was like,
right.
what?
I don't.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
we
get
were
it.
like, it's AC/DC. And he's like, oh.
I mean, I know who AC/DC is, but I don't really listen to AC/DC. I was more of a Nirvana, Sublime.
I listen
gotcha.
to all that too. But I still know the balls song. It's about balls.
Technically, it's about like a ball, like going dancing.
I know.
But-
Princess balls.
Yeah.
Princesses have balls?
In their honor.
Yeah.
Weird. Ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to my list tonight. I appreciate it. I am Adam.
I'm Tach.
I'm Andrea Joy.
And I'm Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. So glad to have you on board, man. Seriously.
What about
been,
me?
Been excited about that. Well, of course you. Sasha's our newest host. Don't steal his thunder.
We are super excited to have you on board too, though.
Thanks, Mr. Wilson.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to Twisted 10. We'll talk to you next week.
That's it.
Hey, remember we had that listener event?
Yeah. Our first ever listener event for Living Podcariously.
Yeah, 7/7/7, July 7th.
Giant success. In fact, we just gave Keith with the Children's Hunger Project his money from that event that we raised.
Indeed, we did. Hey, what was that beer that was donated for the event?
That was from Bug Nutty Brewery. That was called the Nutty Idiot. It was a medium-bodied lager. I don't remember the ingredients that they had in it, but man, it was good. We served 300 pours, all 300 possible pours that we could have out of their donation. We served very, very quickly that night.
Yeah, it had like an Asian flavor to it or something. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was interesting. It was cool, though. I loved it.
I think a little bit of a sesame flavor.
Yes.
I'm going to have to get that ingredient list from them. But yeah, that was really, really good. Our boy Ray Burrito also does comedy up there every third Thursday at Bug Nutty Brewery here on Merritt Island. He does the third Thursday comedy night up there.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It's a really cool list. It's every time I've been up there, it's amazing comics.
Nice.
Andrea, did you try the beer that night?
Oh, yes. It was wonderful.
She's not a beer drinker, can you tell?
Don't say it like
I
that.
wasn't standing at the game all night. I had plenty of time to drink beer.
Yeah, John and the guys over at Bug Nutty certainly hooked us up. So we want to send all of our listeners, if you're looking for a good micro brew, especially in Brevard County, there's a lot of them out there, and Bug Nutty is by far one of the best.
They are located at 715 North Courtney Parkway, Merritt Island. Give them a call at 321-452-4460 or email them at manager@bugnutty.com.
So hey, let's take a minute here to say a little something about. Remember our Dan Cummins Day?
We had him on both Living Podcariously and the Twisted 10.
Well, when he was in studio.
When we had him here in studio.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
Oh, yeah, jet lag day.
Jet lag
That's
day
right.
for
That's when she
Andrea.
got back
That's
from
right.
Italy. That's right.
Right. And we gotten that day catered for us.
That's right. We sure did.
And that was, what was it, Wagon Wheel Pizza.
Absolutely. Wagon Wheel Pizza down out of Palm Bay hooked us up.
Oh my God,
just
it
to
was
keep
awesome.
my Italian vacation going. It was here when I got back.
Yes, it was.
It was awesome. It was quite a spread they gave us.
Yeah, they did. So we had, obviously, Dan Cummins was in studio with us. We also had the cast and crew from Burn It Down show, and we had Ray Burrito with Gallows Humor Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we had maybe 15, 18 people, whatever it was, in the studio that day,
Mm-hmm.
each doing their own recording sessions. Wagon Wheel catered not only for Dan to be here, but they also catered for every guest that we had that day.
Yeah.
So really big shout out to Wagon Wheel Pizza down in Palm Bay. Thank you guys so much for hooking us up. They had lasagna, spaghetti and meatballs,
Pizzas.
obviously pizza,
Wings.
and a gigantic salad that,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. Our group doesn't really eat salad.
What?
What's that all about?
That's weird. I think our whole entire group weighs about 6,000 pounds, so combined.
Hey, speak for yourself, buddy. But yeah, we definitely want to thank the guys down at Wagon Wheel Pizza for hooking us up. It was amazing food. If you are in the Brevard County area and want amazing Italian food, not only is it pizza, but it's all sorts of Italian foods, then be sure to check Wagon Wheel Pizza out.
Indeed, they have several locations, I believe.
I think we're just promoting the one.
I know.
You want to say their locations and their phone number and their website address?
Palm Bay.
You can find them.
Pizza.
You can find them.
Find them. You can.
Start again.
You can find Wagon Wheel Pizza at 1760 Palm Bay Road, Northeast Palm Bay. If you want to give them a call, let them know you're coming. It's 321-724-4769 or email them at info@thewagonwheelpizza.com.
You can also check out their full menu at thewagonwheelpizza.com. So make sure you include that "the" at the beginning. There's imitators. We don't want them to, get the credit here.
No.
Check them out.
Woot woot.
Yay.
Woot woot. I am Adam. I'm not one of your hosts tonight. Sitting over there in the
He can't talk. Maybe I should go next.
in the big sitting
No.
sitting in the lady chase.
Did you say you're not one of the hosts?
Right. Next.
I am not one of the hosts.
Who are you?
Who am I? Who am I? Now that is a question. How long do we have?
I'm Tach.
Hey, Tach. Thanks for picking up that ball and running with it.
Because you skipped over me. That's not right.
Well, you were choking.
Oh, I appreciate your thoughts and prayers. I'm Tach, and I'm not the host tonight. I'm sitting over in Lady Chase.
Hi, this is Andrea Joy, and I am not your host tonight.
Huh.
And
Jay.
I'm Mr. Wilson.
No, Jay. Mr. Wilson is here.
Why do we even have to say Jay? Just don't say that name.
This is your first night officially on the mic as permanent host for Twisted 10, I think, right?
Yeah, you're right.
First night as permanent host.
Nice. Welcome.
How's it feel, buddy?
Are we going to do that hazing
good.
thing
It's
we
comfy.
talked about?
The hazing? Yeah.
Okay.
It'll happen right
Later.
now. You ready? Right now. And hosting our episode is going to be Josh tonight.
Josh, what'd you bring?
Let's do this. I got the top 10 ways to fuck over co-hosts. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
Well, wait a minute. If I'm not hosting, Tach's not hosting, Andrea's not hosting, Jay's not here anymore, and Josh isn't hosting, who's hosting?
Oliver.
Nobody's on Skype.
Come on, buddy.
Who is hosting?
I'm just joshing you. It's my. Oh, see what I did there? I'm joshing you. It's my
It's
night.
Mr. Wilson to you.
It is definitely my night. I haven't done one of these in 4 months?
8 months? What?
4 months, I think.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Hasn't been that long.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Oh, what are we talking about?
So if you've never listened to the Twisted 10 before, what we do here is someone brings a list, an original host-created list. And what we do is we take it, we put a little diaper on it. This is
babies.
for you, Mr. Wilson.
All right,
And then-
taking notes.
Take notes. And a lot of people say you use baby powder. No, don't use baby powder.
And what's baby powder for?
I don't even worry about it. You can squeeze it, make a train.
You can put it in your butt and fart and it shoots.
Well, what about the other side?
Wham. He
You
was
only have
gay.
one cousin.
What about
Alright.
aunts, children's from
You only
other-
have one cousin.
I have two cousins and their brother and sister.
You only have two cousins.
Oh, I guess there's the other two, too.
Look at the number just doubled.
But you said my favorite cousin.
Okay, true that. Okay. Okay, she's
She
making it
caught you in the
difficult.
technicality here,
Yes,
not me.
I know there's going to be technicalities, but I was assuming there wasn't going to be any with three people. But yes, they have a whole nother set of cousins that you've never met before.
We're so missing the joke here. She's from Oklahoma. The family trees are straight as a line over there, Tach. Oh, I got a dirty look. Okay. Carry
All right,
on.
never mind. It's ruined now.
That's a great joke, Tach. Good job. buddy.
There's more to it, but it's fine. Just go ahead.
You ruined his joke.
But she doesn't have any other cousins.
I got you.
My uncle's
okay.
brother is gay. He didn't have any kids.
Okay.
Do you want to finish the joke?
There's just not. It's just like imagining meeting like one of those other cousins. Like, hi, I'm Mike's cousin. I'm like, well, no, because I'm Mike's cousin. Fuck you. You know, it's like, it'd be weird. You know, it's like,
If our former co-host Jay Alvarez was dead, he would be turning in his grave right now.
Yeah. What are your family reunions like?
okay,
Very tense.
Okay,
That's what it sounds
so
like.
I do have this worded out properly to work in stand up, but I was working with you and talking to you. And,
You were trying
and
that
then I
on
got
us?
technicalities, and then I got all this other stuff.
You were trying that bit on us?
Well, yes and no.
If we're your litmus test, don't use that joke.
If it's worded properly, it could work out. This time it was not.
Why?
I'm glad I brought. You can cut that. Can you edit that and make it funnier?
You mean to add in some canned studio laughter?
No, just make it funnier.
Oh,
Or
add in a
cut it
whole
out.
different joke.
Just cut it out.
But listen, go home, record a better joke, send it in. I'll dub that in. All right, guys, let's get some fake laughter. That's good, Tach. We just killed his self-esteem there. All right.
Just read your list.
Okay. Why do I feel like he's going to attack me this entire list? Okay, so top 10 things science can't figure out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I knew it was going to go like this. Number 10.
Number 10.
Number 10.
The Taos or Taos hum. Does anybody know what this is?
That
The
is
Taoist hum?
something.
You guys got Sponsorship with Living Podcariously or the Twisted 10 is not just about contracts or money. We like to form relationships with those who invest in our shows.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We only like representing companies or products that we can really get behind.
We met Kyle and Bianca from Oak and Iron Photography at an event from another sponsor of ours and immediately bonded with them because let's face it, they're just awesome people.
Yeah, and if you came out to our Living Podcariously listener event, you may have seen them roaming around, taking some photos for us. They captured so much joy and emotion in those photos that night. It was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Now, Adam, I'm kind of a amateur photographer, so I can appreciate how difficult it really is to capture moments like that.
They shoot events of any kind, weddings, lifestyle photos like maternity, couples, families, you name it. Not only do they capture moments that your grandmama will like, but they also put that oak and iron personal style and spin on what would normally be considered traditional photos.
Oh yeah, that Ring of Fire shot from our event was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Their photos not only capture the raw emotions, but when looking at them later, you were transported back to that day they were taken.
You'll see it on their website. They capture, quote, the real moments for the true at heart.
Nice.
Head on over to oakandironphoto.com to check out some of their work. Also, you can click the Contact Us button and get a quote of your own.
Go and check out oakandironphoto.com and let Kyle and Bianca know you heard about them from us.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to The Twisted 10, bringing you original and unique host-created top 10 lists, recorded live in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida, with hosts Tach Van Sickle, Adam Poston, Jay Alvarez, and me, Andrea Joy.
And welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10. It's a puff of white baby powder.
And then we put a little diaper on it, then we swaddle it, and we hold it, and we rock it to sleep, and then we discuss it and break it down.
I'll cut all of that out and just use the discuss it and break it down. Is that what you want me to do? No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, that pretty much nails it. Yeah, so each week a host or guest host brings their list in. It has to be unique. It cannot be directly copied from BuzzFeed or any of those other
I don't even know why I even
sites.
said it. He's just going to reiterate.
You motherfuckers. Right
No,
off the
you're
bat.
right. And this is what we do. I'm just kidding. You are like really sensitive tonight, Adam.
No, I'm
What's
not. I'm
going
not sensitive at all.
on? Why would you say that?
You're
What do you
attacking me.
mean? No.
Tack. See what I did there?
Now you guys see my life all the time.
For listeners who might be new to Josh, Josh is also Mr. Wilson. He's been our web and our PR guy on the back end of Dichotomy Media, which is our company that kind of runs our podcasts for. It's us, but I mean, it's what all of our podcasts are products of the company. Josh has been helping us out with that for a long time, and he's moving to Brevard. So we'll have him over here with us more regularly, hopefully all the time, pending schedules and stuff like that.
Did you say Mr. Wilson was a product of the company?
I mean, you could take it that way, but no, he's a member of the company that supports the podcasts, which are the products of the company.
And what's his name?
Mr. Wilson.
Good job.
All right. Now we got that settled. So I created this list. I've been working on this list for quite some time. It was partially inspired by the episode that we had with the Flat Earth guys in here.
Nice.
It was partially inspired by Adam Conover with Adam Ruins Everything. That's a very obvious plug.
Oh,
I
we can't get to it.
absolutely...
Hold on. Wait.
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go.
I absolutely love that show. He was recently interviewed on another podcast I listened to, and he's just a fucking awesome guy. He's really, really cool.
Indeed.
So there are Josh, for more of the information on Josh, aka Mr. Wilson, go listen to Living Pod Curiously's episode this week. We do a little bit of a short dive into his life and what he is and what what his life experiences are a little bit, not too much, but there are 3 of us on this podcast now that are techies that work sort of in the space industry. So in the space program. All right, so we're very, very much fans of the scientific method, fans of science in general, and the things that are unexplainable and new discoveries, what have you, things like that. However, there are things out there that science can't explain.
Ooh, I like where you're going.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
He's got a boner. It's really weird.
Santa
Well, it's a
Claus?
chub.
No, not Santa Claus. Santa Claus having a boner would be really strange.
But he only comes once a year.
Oh, hi-yo.
It'd be a lot of buildup, if you know what I mean. That's why it's White Christmas.
White Christmas.
No, what I've put together is the top 10 things that science can't figure out.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, let's see where you're going with this.
There's no theme. There's no twist. Nothing like that. There's nothing really. It's all over the place as far as what this list is.
But I mean,
Women.
that's 10 through 9, right? Or 10 through 2, right there. It's just women.
But you could say aunts, mothers, grandmas, daughters, cousins that are girls, men who are now girls, who used to be girls, but now are girls.
Can I say a quick joke
What?
real quick? It's kind of a joke, but more of like something that makes you think.
All right.
I may have said this on the show before, maybe not this show, but sorry, I didn't mean to bring the show to a halt.
Just get
But
to
she
your
said
joke.
cousin. Just get to the joke. Just get to the funny, man. So cousins, right? Okay. So I want everybody in the room to think about assuming everybody has cousins, right?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Think about your favorite cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think about that person.
Okay.
Got somebody in mind? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your favorite cousin. Now think about this. That cousin of yours has a whole other set of cousins you don't even know.
That's not true.
It's horseshit.
What if you're not your cousin, your favorite cousin's favorite cousin?
That's what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine meeting that their one of their other cousins?
If you sleep with
hi.
your cousin's cousin, is that somehow wrong?
Listen.
I have met their other cousin. I have met them.
Okay, I'm not talking about your sister.
What?
You're so.
You're talking about her father's siblings.
Or
There
whatever.
are none.